Hello. Hey guys, so thank you for joining the live demo of Compass Beta. My name is Vince and I am the co-founder of Compass. Hey guys, so the YouTube stream just echoed. Anyways, so today I will be showing you what we've been working on for the last couple of months with Compass, and also what the outlook is for 2023. Compass is, I think, now getting 1 year old. We started in February last year. So we have our anniversary in a couple of days. And in this period, we've built the platform out so that it covers, it does basically everything you can expect from an analytics tool. But we wanted to turn it into something that can give you a unique value. So something that other tools just don't do. And that's when we figured out that in order to achieve this, we need to put our weight behind NFT trading ourselves as a team, and then figure out what pain points are still not served for traders. And what we did is we put our heads together and thought, what could give us an edge over all the other traders? We have this massive database, the whole blockchain index. Obviously, Compass runs on top of that. And we thought, yeah, this could be a good starting point. And we looked into the data that's there. We looked into collections, token data, and wallet data. And that's when we had the aha moment, because we realized that if we do some filtering, we can find the best filters, the best traders in each niche, the traders who are making the most profits, and who have already figured it out. So we don't have to figure it out ourselves. And so we started off with exactly that. We created a dashboard that lets you discover the consistently profitable traders that have figured out a strategy that makes them money. And it's too good to be true. And it really was a little bit, because there were no other tools that did this. We couldn't use Etherscan. We couldn't use OpenSea. OpenSea obviously lacks the features. Etherscan shows everything, but your head hurts just by trying to figure out what's where. So that's why we built the Compass Discovery platform, which I haven't shown to you guys yet, but let me just go onto the screen share. This is the leaderboards. What you can see here is the wallets that have made the most profits in the last 7 days, in this case. And what this dashboard does is help you find the best traders that you can copy. So the power here really lies in the filtering capabilities. So we have done a couple of preset filters that filter the traders down into 3 main leaderboards. And I've bookmarked those leaderboards here just so we can go through them. First, we have the best bidders there are on Ethereum right now. These traders earning very good profit. As you can see, they're listed by the total profit in Ethereum. And you can see that most of their trades are profitable. We have the bars here showing their strategy overall. So these people are mainly bidding. Some of them are also buying tokens. And this is the average entry size, so the average trade size that they do. This is very helpful if you are a smaller trader and you cannot copy basically all the large traders. And we have a bunch of other metrics here, as well as a period selector. And most of these traders are consistent. So these are not people who just got lucky once, but these are people who have a strategy that is visible in their wallet profile. So 2 more dashboards that we created is the Minter dashboard. So these, I've added the filters here. I want to see traders who have flipped more than 5 collections in the last 90 days. I want to see those who are frequently minting, so that I can get the more consistent traders. And as you can see, a lot of people are making a lot of profit with mints consistently. And the same goes for the flippers. So these are people who are flipping tokens, and this is more the traditional buy low, sell high type of guy. And you can fine tune these dashboards yourselves. We will release them as pre-made dashboards for you to use, but you can basically create your own, fine tune your own, so you can figure out not just the traders that are interesting, but even possibly your competitors. So if you're already using a bidding strategy, you can find all the competitors that you have who are doing the same strategies as you are and are possibly more profitable because they figured out a twist. So the next step is, after you find a trader that you could look into, you have to realize, you have to figure out what strategy they're doing. And for that, we've rebuilt the Wallet Analytics dashboard so that it can highlight the patterns you need to copy a trader, right? So we have created a number of features that let you find the complete picture of a wallet. We have here I've labeled this trader the dumb bidder. It's not because he is dumping himself, but rather he's bidding on tokens that are being dumped, but we'll return back to that later on. We have portfolio value breakdowns. We can see that this guy has a small portfolio, and we have 4 bands: high, medium, and low liquidity, high, medium, low, and dead liquidity collections. This is especially useful in case of the minters, because they'll see their wallets clog up with a lot of dead collections, and that will inflate their portfolio value. We can see that this is a guy who has taken out more money from NFTs than he has put in. So his overall total profit is positive. We can see his portfolio value over time. You've probably seen these charts before. This is, again, good for consistency. If he's a flipper, you'll often see them accumulate money, assets, NFT assets over time. And the activity scatter plot is a very, very interesting one, because you can see just how consistent this trader is. And as you can see, this guy is making 0.0, 0.2 Ethereum profit every single day. And this is not down to luck, believe me. This guy has figured out a method that very, very few other people know. We know because we found him on the leaderboards. You can see the activity here again: mints, buys, sales, everything is visually displayed here. You can see an overview of his strategy. As you can see, he's mostly making bids, right? And also a few purchases and mints here and there, because it's a real person behind the account and not just the bot. In that case, it would likely show just 100% bids. Recent bets, again, what he's been betting on lately. A very interesting and very useful feature that makes the research a lot easier is the related wallets detection that Compass does. And what we do is we look at transfers to and from the account to other accounts, and then we suggest them to you to group under the same name. You can even look at the exact transfers that these two wallets do between each other, and you can see these are likely not charitable transfers. So this is one guy transferring his tokens onto his second wallet. You can also look at the transfers on the way back, if that happens. This is really there so that you can confidently group multiple wallets onto the same owner. So let's do that. It's as simply as this. I click on group. I have the two wallets grouped into one, and I still see the same screen. But now everything is aggregated. So all the data that we've just went through is aggregated for the two wallets into one. So this way I can get a much better view of this trader. So how do I find out what the strategy of this trader is, you might ask? And that's a good question. We have built we have fine-tuned a number of Compass features to allow you to do that very fast. The trick is to look for patterns in the wallets trading, and you'll get used to it after you look for a couple of wallets already. You'll get the hang of it pretty fast. I've checked out this wallet before, and I figured out the strategy that he's doing. If you go onto flips, you'll see every single one of his flips that he did, you'll see that he is doing very good margins on his flips. These are ridiculous numbers, right? So 200%, 180%. And look, he's just making money on almost all of his flips. How does he do it? In order to find out, I usually look at his counterparties and also the collections that he's trading, and also sometimes the token specifically. If I want to see the history of a flip, I simply go onto the bid. So this is the cost. So this is where he bought the tokens and this is where he sold. So if I go to Flip, I can see the history of this token inside his wallet. You can see it was bought for at the bid. It's highlighted in purple for 0.02, and it was sold at ridiculous profit. And he bought it at 74% below floor. And this will be a recurring theme for this wallet. He, in some magical way, seems to snap up deals way, way below floor. And once I go on to, by the way, if I click on the bid, then you'll see the filters applied here. And these filters can be pinned. So the filters are pinned throughout the tabs. So if I go back to Flips, the filter is still there. And even the overview dashboard adjusts to show only the tokens from this collection, the history of this collection for these two wallets in this group. And everything is adjusted accordingly. So how does he do it? If I go on to bids and I look at his counterparties one by one, I've already done this, so I know where this is going. I will see that his counterparties are almost always dumping tokens, right? So this guy sold a Zuper's Evo token to our bidder friend. And I think this is the one that he scooped up. If we go back, we'll see it's a recurring theme. Every single one of his most of his counterparties, let's say, are dumping their tokens. And this guy just keeps sweeping up the best deals there are. Look at this. Look at how many tokens this guy dumped, just one after the other, as you can see the timestamps. And he just keeps sweeping up the best deals there are. And this is what happens in every single one. So what this guy does, what I was able to find out fairly quickly with Compass is that this person is probably listening on the blockchain for whales that start dumping for whatever reason. And he times his bids so that they are, so that he can scoop up the best deals, right? And that way, it doesn't happen that often that someone starts dumping, but it happens often enough. If you look, he buys tokens every now and then, and he's making very good profits on them. So he listens to the blockchain, watches for dumps. When someone starts dumping, he simply starts scooping up the best deals. He times his bids a certain percentage below floor. He probably looks at the bid ceiling and the depth of the bids and the number of tokens remaining in the wallet. And then he looks at where the last tokens will be sold at what price. And by the way, we've automated this, we've replicated this, and it works. So just let's have another look at another wallet that has a different strategy. Again, same overview. We can see that he automates bids for sure. Look at the number of bids that are happening. And he also automates lists because the number of listings is just ridiculous. And we can also see that this guy is doing consistent profits. Recently, he was more profitable, but he's doing profits every single day. I've aptly named it Market Maker Simple because he has a fairly simple market making strategy that I figured out. As you can see, 100% bids, likely the whole wallet is automated. He doesn't send tokens to any other wallets, so we couldn't detect any related wallets. If we go to Flips, then we can see his margins. He's not winning always, but he's fairly consistent and he's making small margins on his Flips. And if I go to collections, I can see his liquidity parameters that he's using. We have categorized tokens into liquidity parameters, collections, namely, because low liquidity collections, they are more difficult to sell, as you all know, and high liquidity collections are easier to sell. If you go to activity, you'll see his bidding that is happening. He bids on collections, as you can see. And if you hover over here, you can actually see the spread of the collection. And he is usually bidding on tokens with healthy spreads so that he keeps the bid ceiling and then he resells at the listing floor. If we go down and look at some other bids, you can see there's fairly all right spread in the collection so that he can he can profitably basically market make these collections. Right, and this is also recreatable with our new automation suite. And funny fact, we've also recreated this one. Now, a third and last wallet that I found on the discovery dashboard that I found really interesting is a guy called Jaguar. Hold on, just give me a sec. And again, he's very profitable. He's also bidding. He has a fairly all right sized portfolio, and profile is bid. You can see right off the bat, his wallet is right here, right? So we've detected a lot of related wallets. It's not all of them necessarily having the same owner. It just might be some traders that he sent wallets to. But I can be fairly confident that Jaguar wallet is also him, because obviously he has the same name. So what does this guy do? I went onto his flips and I was looking at a pattern I could recognize. And what I found is that more often than not, the tokens he's buying are flagged on OpenSea. So I went through some of his tokens and some of his bids, and I also saw a pattern in his counterparties. So his counterparties almost always have 0 Ethereum spent, receive transactions in large batches from others. He is basically bidding on suspicious items on Discover wallets, right? Questionable strategy, but it just shows the power of Compass that you can find these strategies yourself and figure out that, hey, other people are doing this, and apparently it's working. It's questionable. I don't recommend doing this. Obviously, our automation suite can do basically anything. So it can automate even this strategy, if you will. So yeah, that is basically three strategies highlighted that we found just casually browsing the wallet discovery dashboards. All of the strategies you can think up or you can come up with can be automated with our new Compass automation suite. There are even strategies. I showed 3 bidding strategies. There are even minting strategies. So people who I've seen people who mint automatically across a number of wallets. You can neatly group those wallets. Those wallets all show up in the related wallets because they send the minters who do it professionally mint across a number of wallets, and they all send tokens between each other. So you can quite comfortably group up all the wallets of a minter into one person, and then you can see what a person is minting across wallets, right? So we've seen wallets mint in the last moment for hot mints and then resale on the demand over spiel on the secondary market. And we've seen people who are arbitraging Blur and OpenSea. There's just an endless number of strategies that you can discover with the discovery of Compass. Right, so another feature that we've built and that I mentioned previously is the automation suite. And I've created some example automations for you guys so you can see just the capabilities of this feature. You can basically automate anything you come up with. It can already do that. A trade-off there is that some of the automations require scripts, but we are packaging a lot of the stuff the automations can do into a friendly user interface. So the whole automation suite works on a trigger and action logic. So it's basically, if this happens, then do this, right? If, let's say, a collection has a high liquidity and also a spread that is, so spread between bid ceiling and collection floor is higher than, it's basically profitable even after fees, then you can start bidding and start listing tokens. Or you could do any number of others. You could replicate. We have an automation set up, for example, that listens on the blockchain if somebody starts dumping tokens, if a whale starts dumping tokens of a collection from which they hold a lot. and they are willing to burn through the bid ceiling, then we pull in all the remainder of the tokens and then bid lowball offers on those. Because if somebody is already bid, and this is, by the way, real time, if somebody starts dumping in real time, we bid on his tokens and then grab the best deals, just like our first example did the dump bidder. Dump as in dumping, not dump. Right, so we can also auto list tokens. So let's just go on some examples that we set up. We have the dumper, right? So this is the one I just mentioned. We have a trigger that activates if somebody sells 2 or more tokens within 900 seconds of each other. These sales have to be bids, and it have to be below floor, like 10% below floor. It has to be a given liquidity, so we can be comfortably reselling them. Then we run a script. These scripts will be packaged up into neat little buttons, right? So this will be a button which will say check his other tokens from the collection, right? Something like that. So you won't have to write scripts using Compass automations. This is just an early peek. So we check his other tokens, and then we send ourselves a notification on Telegram that, hey, this guy is dumping tokens. And then we have an action that repeats twice over that places a bid on a collection bid, basically below floor. So like 60%, like 40% below floor on OpenSea and also on X2Y2. And we also get a notification that, hey, these bids have been placed on his tokens because he's dumping. And then we set up another automation that alerts our Telegram that, hey, one of the bids have been filled. There has been a purchase. It's a good place to point out that we have the alerts integrated into the automation section, and this makes it much more powerful. So you can create much more powerful and customizable alerts with automations. And yeah, so we have auto lists. So for example, this automation keeps the floor of a token. So I have some collections that I want to get rid of, and it's a bit nasty. It undercuts the floor automatically with a given timer, so that I can keep the lowest. My token can be lowest in the collection, and I can get out as fast as possible. What else do we have? We have a token sold notification. We have a lot of others. So this is basically the end-to-end concept for Compass moving on to 2023, which begins with a dashboard which you can use to discover profitable traders. It has a wallet analytics page that is fine-tuned to surface the pattern behind his strategy. And then you can go ahead and replicate his strategy within Compass straight after, right? So it's an end-to-end process. And I realize it might be a bit daunting at first. And we had a team that we helped each other within Compass to sort this out. And that's why we will be running a weekly video series where I discover strategies live. I look at traders and I try to figure out and replicate strategies within Compass. And this will be the real deal. So they will go live on the blockchain. And that way you can watch and basically get the hang of it, how to find traders, discover the pattern, and use Compass to automate their strategies. So yeah, that's the core concept of what we're building. And now is the time for questions, if you will. If we have collected some Q&A questions previously. And let's just, if you go onto Zoom and raise your hand, then you can ask a question live. If not, I will be reading the questions that we've received in our Discord. Let me check on what's happening on YouTube on the live stream. If for those of you watching inside YouTube, Crypto communist, you are already asked to unmute. I think you can unmute now.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So first of all, very nice presentation. It's crystal clear. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Just wondering regarding the automation features you are looking for to implement. Could you briefly explain how the whole gas aspect is managed, knowing that each transaction needs to be like baked by gas and stuff? So would it be like a smart contract pulling out a specific amount of gas for each transaction, or yeah, you have some information on that?
Good question. You can, within the automation, we have the trigger and action logic, right? So you can add an action parameter where you specify some specific gas settings that you'd like to use. So by default, it uses default gas, so medium gas setting. But you can also fine-tune the gas settings within automations. At the moment, you can do this with a simple script, but we will package the script up so that it will basically have a nice button and a nice slider, user interface. Everyone can use it that way. So in the future, within the automation, you'll also be able to fight a gas war, if you will, from just by presetting the gas parameters, outgassing others, whatever, from within automations. So that's especially useful if you want to snipe from automations, or if you want to mint very, very hot mints, because that's when it's critical, the gas setting is critical. But yes, you can preset and even make the gas setting smarter, where you outgas the other one, the previous one in the mempool, everything. Good question. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you for explaining that. And just a little follow-up one.
Yes.
If you have like auto list or auto sell features through the automation tool, how can I imagine that? I mean, if I have now 50 simultaneous, let's say, auto lists, so auto sell, will the gas then be 50x, or yeah, I have a bit of trouble to understand.
If you set a number of automations that do the exact same thing at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Good question. Well, in that case, you can, well, the bot will not necessarily try to do everything in the same. You won't outgas yourself within one automation. So the bot will do it one by one, obviously. But if you want, you can also set, if you have, let's say, 50 tokens and you want to list them all, you can set it so that the bot keeps 20 of them at floor, if that's what you want to do, and it maintains the floor for those 20 tokens. Or if you have specific automations, let's say sniping, then obviously there could be a setup where they try to outgas each other, but in general, you can also set them up within one more complicated automation. So one that has two actions, and both of which, let's say, one snipes on OpenSea, the other one snipes on X2Y2, so that they don't interfere with each other, or you could even add delays. Or I hope that answered kind of your question.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. So the pre-recorded question is, does it fully support Blur listing transactions, accepted bids across marketplaces, e.g. pseudo-market? Yes, we have rebuilt the backend as well, and we will, right now we support all marketplaces except Blur and Pseudo, but we have on the front end, but in the back end, we already support SudoSwap and Blur. We actually handle each pseudo pool as a different set of listings. So when a token gets into the pool, that gets handled as a pool. So that gets handled as a regular listing, and same goes vice versa with the bids. So yes, we handle Blur, we handle Pseudo, and we handle all listing, execution, sweeping, everything on every single marketplace, which is quite cool, I think. Right. So next question is Alex Core. By the way, Crypto Communist, I think you have your hand raised. Forgot it there. If you want to ask another question, let me know. If not, all right. Do you plan to support pseudo-swap pool stats? I'm currently using Dune tracking. It would be great to track it in a slick UI of Compass. Yes, again, a pool will be handled as a set of listings, that way it will appear just like any other marketplace inside Compass. For open edition collections, people need more details about the different variations of the collections. For example, if a collection contains 3 different collectibles or yes. So this question refers to not necessarily open edition collections, but ERC 1155s, where there is, let's say, 5 different tokens in a collection of, let's say, 10,000 or 8,500. Yes, we already support this. So we already support some of this, right? So you can see we have in the beta, we have improved the ERC 1155 handling. You can see the different tokens that are for sale. You can see on the scatter plot neatly the floor prices graphed out. But we still have a few features to implement. We can show different floors on the aggregated side, and yeah, but we're working on that as well. What are the milestones planned for 2023? The milestones as per our current roadmap were Wallets 2.0, which we've implemented. Then we have wallet groups, which is part of this release. Oh, let me actually just pull it up. So the milestones. I have it in the announcements. Right, so we have wallet lists. This is released with this update. Fee 2.0, this will also be released with this update. Mint from Compass, trading dashboard, and number 6, which is a question mark. We are not necessarily wed to as you know, everything changes in Web3 very fast, and we are not necessarily wed to a roadmap. But we intend, we're adding sweeps. Hold on, give me a second, because I have. Yep. So we're also bringing, with this new update, sweeping from Compass. Obviously, the offers and bids are now included in the Compass analytics. We are working, so another addition for the roadmap will be the shopping cart listing across marketplaces, for which we have the backend already done. We just need the front end to be done. So you can click on with one button on Compass, you can list across all marketplaces, fees adjusted. You can even enable it to keep the floors. Everything, this is based on automations, on the back end of automations, but it will be implemented into the regular Compass user interface. We are doing the video guide where we will discover trading strategies, and I will show you how to automate them. We are rebuilding the holder tab in 2023. We're also building new models for trade pricing metrics. That way you can snipe trades based on some trade pricing metrics that we set up, basically, but you can infinitely customize them, obviously. Then we will migrate over the whole of alerts onto Compass automation so that they are more plastic. You can customize them more. And there is a bunch of other ideas that we have, and we're not wed to this, but this is the best way forward we see right now to help basically you guys get real value out of Compass. Good. So next question is milestone. What feature is the team most excited about to share? Well, the automations, because we have tested them and we are using them and they are making money. So I think that's quite exciting. It's really exciting to see how the platform is developing. So thank you. I found some collections that I'm interested in that have incomplete listings in Compass. Some items are missing. Are these generally easy to fix? If we raised, yes, absolutely, please. These are usually edge cases, and every time you report one, the chances of one occurring again just get reduced because that edge case will be fixed. I missed the part of how we give permissions. Is this wallet managed by Compass, e.g. auto list, auto bind full permissions, either through a contract? Yes, this is a very good question. The way we've set this up is right now, obviously this is pre-release. You create a wallet and you have to share the private key of the wallet with Compass. So we recommend not giving your biggest wallet, so probably just a wallet that you want to automate with. But if that is, we will create a poll on how you guys want to do this. Obviously, there is an axis between the level of access you give Compass versus the level of automations you can do. So we can do it in a way in which we simply send you transactions to approve, and then you approve it manually. Or we could do it in a way where you create a wallet just for Compass and then share the private key with Compass. Or we could do it in a way where we have a wallet utility program, which you can download to the computer, and you could add your wallet there and then give, which is stored locally on your computer. And then we will feed suggested transactions onto that wallet, which lays in the private utility program, the wallet utility program on your computer, and that simply approves. The added benefit there is it can approve transactions automatically, but you can also, in case if you want to, you can also click revoke cache and then revoke all permissions to Compass for that wallet. So there is really a range here. We could even do one where you could simply download the thing and run it on your own computer. We're open to anything. Right, so let's see if... So I think Jansar is writing another question. Let's wait for that. If you guys have any other questions, you can feel free to join. I really would like to see a contract handling the funds in a trustless way, so we don't give street traces. Yes, good. That can be done. Absolutely, we can create a contract. We could do it in a way that a contract handles the funds, and then you can revoke the permissions from the contract, and then we release a software which handles the API pulls and requests from and to the computer, or even just on the chain. I have to speak to my colleague Peter, but yes, we've talked about this and we've come to the conclusion whatever the community prefers is the version we will implement, basically. So if it's contract way with the possibility, obviously, of you revoking access, then that will be the way we'll develop it. Obviously, for now, we have used this internally and tested the automations internally. So that's why we just went with the private key version. I think we're getting another question from Zero NFT.
Hey, Vince, when is the automation feature live?
This month. So we are in February this month.
Okay, thanks.
It will go live with a little video where I will go through setting up some of the most common automations that you'd want. You could actually, it would be helpful if you guys could send in the general chat some automation ideas, or even in DM to me of some automation ideas that you'd like to try out. Just a couple of lines with the parameters you want to see. If this happens, then do this. And then we can integrate those from straight one into a nice UI into automation. So when you get Go, you can simply click set up next, select the bids quite easily, and then you're good to go. So I think we're getting another question, and that will be the final question for today. Or maybe not. Maybe we're not getting another question.
Let me just ask then the last one.
Yes.
Is this automation stuff like accessible for every regular pass holder, or will the pass holder need to top up maybe and maybe hold 2 passes, or what's the access plan to this feature?
At the moment, we plan on giving access to the pass holders. So if you have a pass, then you can access the automation suite. We have been thinking once this thing gets rolling, we have been thinking of getting people to add Compass to their OpenSea handle, so just people could see that, hey, just gives us another layer of exposure. But it's really up for debate. First, for now, it's just if you hold a pass, then you get access to a pass or a subscription. Then you get access to the automation features. And by the way, we're also releasing a new website, which will happen sometime after this meeting, which really communicates the new core concept of Compass, the one that I've presented to you on our website itself. Good. So that's a wrap. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. And if you have some follow-up questions, then I will be in our Discord answering. And if you have suggestions, if you have ideas for automations, if you have ideas for the discovery dashboard, then please share. And the team will consider it, basically. So that's a wrap from me. Thank you, and stay safe. Bye-bye.